Ladies and gentlemen, this is a 1971 Chevy Nova SS. And really, this might be the best car that we have reviewed on the channel yet. Chevy only produced 7,015 of the Chevy Nova SS equipped models, and this thing is just an absolute relic. And now, a brief history lesson for the Chevy Nova. The one you're looking at right here, the 1971 Nova, is a part of the third generation of Nova, also known as the last real generation of Chevy Nova that was produced. It went all the way up to the fourth gen. However, that fourth generation was tampered and hampered by emissions regulations and such. The big V8 that they put in there only produced about 200 horsepower, while this right here has a 350 CID V8 producing 270 horsepower, making it one hell of an animal. 0 to 60 was done in 6.2 seconds, and it had a top speed of 120 miles an hour, which isn't too bad for 1971. Now, if we're gonna put the Nova into perspective here, the best way to put it is to stack it up against the Camaro of its day. The Nova is a slightly bigger, more comfortable alternative to the Camaro back then, and that's what it was marketed as. And the reason of the Nova's demise later in the 1970s was because Chevy no longer had a place to kind of slot the Nova in its sales. Chevy Nova started at $2,450, or perhaps more specifically $2,471, which roughly equates to $16,000 and change, which is shockingly cheap when you put it into perspective. And with that in mind, let me bring you on a tour of the best car we've had on this channel so far. We start the review of the SS Nova with the front and just the incredibly simple styling. You just have a big old straight lined grille, circular headlights, of course you gotta have that chrome bumper up front, and perhaps most importantly, the SS logo right here. The reason why that's so important is because Chevy only produced 7,015 Novas with the SS badge, with the SS trim in SS form. This means again that it has that 350 CID V8 producing 270 horsepower, and oh boy is it a joy to look at. But first we need to get into the engine, and how you do that is quite different from all your other cars of today's age. You don't just go in your interior and open the hood release. It's actually right here, right underneath the Chevy badge. You just go ahead and give this a little tug upwards. Then you push it up and then hold itself up just like that, and just look at this beauty. And a theme with the Nova SS is the pure mechanical feel of this car, and you can see just by going ahead and closing this, listen to the gorgeous sound this makes. Come on! And the same can be said with the door. You go ahead and press that button right here, you give it an open, and it gives you a really nice feel. I'm not sure how well that goes across on camera, but I know it'll go across well on camera when I close it. Come on! Now we gotta talk about the sheer amount of badging on this car, oddly enough. So, the first of which, you have a badge right here, a badge here, and here, and there, and there, and here, and there, and here, and finally, here. While we're at the rear, we need to talk about the rear styling of the Nova, and really it's the same style that you see in the front going on to the rear. You have again that straight line, almost grill going in the back right here, and you've got a big old chrome bumper going all throughout the back. Of course, again, you have the SS logo right here and a Nova by Chevrolet logo. And something Chevy really wanted you to know is that the Nova is made by Chevrolet, is made by GM, and you can notice this as soon as you walk in. You go ahead and take a look at the seat belts, and you will see that they are marketed with GM logos right on them. And besides the GM seat belts, when you come in here, you can really see that this car is from a totally different era. For starters, we got to start off with the AC, which was an option in this car, if that gives you any perspective for just how old this car is. Go ahead and press down like that, and I hope it comes across well on camera just how much effort it takes to move these things around and the incredible noises that they make. It's incredible. The same thing goes for the volume knobs. Right here, you go ahead and they just feel so premium, so great, and yet so mechanical, and I love it. Your same thing for your tuning right there. The overall mechanical feel of this car is just incredible. That continues on with the glove box. You go ahead and just twist that open right here. You go ahead and take this out. That is factory. This is what came with the car, the 1971 Nova Coupe Sedan SS. Now, of course, we've already said that this is the SS, as you can see right there on the steering wheel, but just kind of looking through this, it just brings you on a trip through memory lane. You just look at this, and the sheer amount of, like, advertising for this. This was marketed as a cheap muscle car with options that wouldn't break your bank. You just look through all of this and it's like it's incredible. It's remarkable. Now, of course, if you wanted to go ahead and move your mirrors, you would do that by literally just moving it using your hands. It's not even at the point where it's on the interior and it's wired controls. Now we have it electronically. It's not even there yet. Another cool thing that you can barely see in cars nowadays, you have this handle right here. You go ahead and do that. You can open that up to get some air in that little quarter panel right there. Of course, we need to talk about the windows too. It's not power windows. You're back to your good old roll-up manual windows, which takes quite a bit of effort. And while we're on the topic of taking effort, we got to go ahead and yank this little handle right here and just listen to the sound that makes. Of course, while we're talking about the interior, we got to talk about the steering wheel and the dash of the Nova. Taking a look at the steering wheel, we can see the SS logo right here. You can go ahead and take a look right here. You can see the car has been driven 198,000 miles. That's a lot of miles for a carbureted Nova. Like, that's impressive. You can take a look at your speedo right here. The top speed is 120. That is as fast as it goes. So in this car, it is in fact possible to max out your speedo. Now it's time to talk pedals. So there's a lot going on the driver's side footwell, if you will, back here. So obviously you have right here, you have your gas pedal, you have your disc brakes, which is a radical invention in the 70s. You have your clutch pedal, which isn't all that heavy for 1971. You have right here, you have your brake release right here. What we're assuming is your windshield washer fluid there. You have another pedal, which is your parking brake here, and you have this, which we don't particularly know what that does quite yet. But in all, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that your knee or foot can tap at any given time. And something that I really like about all of these pedals is you can kind of see right here, they're kind of in a staircase arrangement. This one's down, then a bit upwards, then a bit more upwards, then a bit higher, and then up. It's kind of like all in a little staircase arrangement, all going down, and I just really love that. And the last thing on the front of the interior of the Nova is this transmission right here. Now, this is a 4-speed manual transmission, which is rather special because the normal Novas, non-SS Novas, only get their transmissions in 3 speeds, but this right here, it was equipped with a 4-speed transmission, which is obviously better. A 4-speed is still terrible by today's standards, let alone a 3-speed. But this right here, you can see it has the 4-speed, not including reverse, and it's floor mounted. Now, you might have seen earlier that there are back seats in this car, and you're probably wondering, well, how do you get in the back? If, as you can see right now, that is one giant bench. Well, you go ahead and go behind the seat right there. You lift this little handle and the entire seat goes up, and you can see it kind of goes up at an angle and it almost looks broken, but that is fully intentional because when you go in the back, you actually have more room to go in. This all comes back at an angle, which gives you more space to come in. And once you do make it in the back, you go ahead and bring this right back, and just like that, it latches into place. It's not that bad in terms of legroom. We have it set to where I would sit, or where anybody else would sit for that matter. And it's actually quite comfortable. I would be all right sitting here for a couple of hours time. So ladies and gentlemen, that was your tour of the 1971 Chevy Nova SS. Genuinely, this has been one of the best reviews we've done for the channel, because nowadays we take so much from modern cars for granted. Your dual zone climate controls, your electronic brakes, your typical engine. But this makes you appreciate something totally different. The simplicity of it, the mechanical feel of it. It's just something that we don't see in cars anymore. We have a carbureted engine up front. We have a pretty much straight front end and a straight back end. It's incredible seeing a car like this. There's power nothing in this car. Having climate controls was an option in this car. And it's just something we don't see anymore. For that, I'm grateful to have reviewed this car. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, this is my cameraman. His name is Pravat Nalmillian. He's the one who makes all of these videos possible. So, a massive thank you for making all of it happen.
Like and subscribe. Follow us.